Cookup.
Hey, you, right there. Y'all see it. Watch this video to the end, boy.
Yeah. Y'all already know what's up. Yeah. Dennis here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you know what to do. Yeah. Well, you know what the lick read. Now, let's get right to it. So, I'm not going to be too long on here. So, this is probably like my third take. There's a lot of discrepancies going on in the background. So, we're going to try to run through this real quick. All right, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Let's talk about it. Let's just get to the main event right quick. We're not going to even waste no time, make you wait for it at the end. We're just going to get right to it because I got a lot I want to kind of unpack real quick because this is an impromptu vlog. I was going to just let this slide by, but I just couldn't, whatever. I just couldn't, you know what I mean? So anyway, Mike Tyson, my GOAT. Greatest of all time in my book, in my era. I know we talk about Ali. Ali is the greatest, yeah, for sure. But I'm an 80s baby. In my era, Mike Tyson is the GOAT. So anyway, with that being said, this is a 58-year-old man with a lot of health issues. And this is not to make an excuse. And yet and still, he almost died at one point, according to reports and according to his own words. He had a lot of different health issues he was dealing with, including those ulcers, which they ended up postponing the fight at that time because, he had to deal with that. Typical things when you get up in age, you have to take care of your body, take care of your health and all of that good stuff, right? And putting himself through rigorous training to get to this point could be a lot on you as well. So this kind of felt eerie, but in a not so brutal way because he didn't really lose anything. Okay, maybe on the scorecards, but the bank account tells a different story. The victory just standing in front of a 27-year-old guy for 8 rounds and didn't get knocked out too many rounds, of course, thank God. I don't think he would have lasted if it had went, if the rounds was longer, I don't think he would have made it. That's either here or there. So the fight was very nostalgic, building up to the fight. As far as Mike Tyson goes, it felt very nostalgic. We were hoping for a better performance, but we got what we got, and I was pretty much fine with that. I didn't really have any high expectations at all. Me being a fan, a childhood fan, everybody's a Mike Tyson fan, so you got a lot of people rooting for the underdog, which was Mike Tyson. Jake Paul, obviously he was the favorite. They had Mike Tyson by a long shot. Who would have ever thought that would happen? But this is 58-year-old Mike, so it is what it is. And if you saw his last performance when he fought Roy Jones, you kind of know what you was getting yourself into. So I didn't really have to brace myself too much, but I think everybody just got caught up in the moment. And that's the beauty of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson could do those things. So to be that age and check a bag, it's reported that he took home about 20 million big ones. You know what I mean? I don't know a lot of youngsters could get that payout like that. He got it at 58. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big win in itself, how I looked at it. And nobody got hurt, which is the main thing. Nobody got hurt. I could tell Jake Paul kind of took it easy on him in a sense, but who's to say if Mike Tyson took it easy on him? I know he was scared to the mug them first 2 rounds though. Obviously Father Time saw otherwise. The legs gave out. This is the first time I actually seen somebody in a boxing match come to the ring with a knee brace on. So I knew it was going to get dark. Then he had a right knee, had a knee brace. So I'm like, we ain't never seen that before. So, okay, Mike, let's see what happens. You know what I mean? We ride with Mike, win, lose, or draw. I'm pretty sure even Jake Paul, pretty sure deep down he rooting for Mike Tyson to even just last 8 rounds, let alone. He probably wanted him to win too. Who knows? It'd have been a great storyline. It'd have been a great storybook win if he did, but that was a long shot though. I'm not saying that, Jake Paul was going to knock him out and beat him senseless. You can tell good acting when you see it, you know what I mean? Because after all, boxers have to sell a fight, and this was the first of its kind. You got the Paul brothers, some of the biggest in social media. They got all these respectable brands. Them boys doing their thing. Shouts out to Jake Paul for putting on that event and everybody that was behind the scenes to make it all happen. It was a spectacle from the entrance to up until the fight. They definitely did an outstanding job building up the fight, even with the hiccups with the health scare with Mike Tyson in the beginning where he had to push the fight back. And they still did an outstanding job overall as far as logistics. I don't want to really get off into the numbers too much, but I will say this: over 60 million households tuned in to watch this fight. And even better to say, the fight, as y'all know, the fight took place at AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington, Texas, to a crowd of about 72,300 people. came out to see Mike Tyson do his thing. You know what I'm saying? That's huge. And then not only that, it was streamed on Netflix. Now, it was a few discrepancies with a lot of people. I noticed that they were complaining about the streaming. I mean, obviously, this was the most, nobody wasn't watching nothing else. I myself, I was tuning back and forth, WWE, SmackDown, back to boxing. Me and my son, we watching both. Matter of fact, my wife, my daughters, like all of them knew about this Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. That's just to let you know how big that is. Like, my daughters don't even watch boxing. Speaking of my daughter, there was another historical moment that happened on that night. The most watched women's sporting event in U.S. history happened. And that was actually the fight of the night. I'm talking about Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. Now, Amanda Serrano, I'm just going to keep it real. We all said it. We saw it. We all heard about it. She definitely got robbed. She definitely deserved to win that fight. Now, these two, this wasn't their only first go around. This was actually the second fight. This was part 2 to a potential trilogy. Both fights ended up in favor of Katie Taylor. Now, that doesn't mean Katie Taylor is a scrub. She definitely ain't no slouch. She was throwing them too, but also she was throwing them headbutts. So there was a lot of headbutting going on, but the fight was action-packed from beginning to the end, and they was brawling. I'm talking about a lot of punches thrown, a lot of punches landed, got a little bloody. Amanda Serrano, she ended up getting a cut across her eye, which I believe was her right eye, if I'm not mistaken. And so that kind of turned the course of the fight. That kind of changed the course of the fight at some point. She was still throwing combinations. She was fighting through all that, and she got busy, and she should have won that fight. I'm just gonna be honest. Some would say it could have went either way. I really didn't see that. In some aspects, yeah, because it wasn't like it was a complete shutout. They was brawling. So if you look at it that way, yeah, you could probably say that. But clearly, I think that, and a lot of people think the same thing, Amanda Serrano should have won that fight. But that's either here or there. Shouts out to both women that did their thing. They broke a lot of records. They did a lot for the sport as far as women go. Now, that's a lot of dope fighters that's out doing their thing on the women's side. You know, you got Clarissa Shields, you know, but sometimes, you know, you got a few knockout artists. It doesn't necessarily make for a good fight sometimes, because the other opponent, even in a knockout, you still have to fight back and make it interesting. That's all I'm saying. And that goes the same thing for men's boxing too, in a sense. Back to that main event though. Jake Paul, obviously everybody knows he won the fight, but both competitors won though. It was a lot of reactions since that fight. I want to point out for sure that I'm keeping my eyelids on, and that's Gervonta Davis actually taking time out to call Jake Paul a bozo, amongst other things, and how he didn't respect that fight and how he didn't like that fight. And like, I understand from that aspect. If I'm Gervonta Davis, obviously that's baby Tyson, and just like any other boxer, most boxers, they look up to Mike Tyson, including Jake Paul. Gervonta Davis took exception to it, said a few things. Jake Paul responded. So it may or may not potentially be a fight in the works between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Two obviously different weight classes. You got a heavyweight. I think Jake Paul is probably like about 223. He weigh about 223, and shoot, Gervonta Davis is like maybe $140, $135. I don't even think he $150. Tank is a small but powerful. He can box. So I think he can hold his own, in the sense if he can just watch out for a punch. He's so smart. He got a boxing IQ. He probably peel him off. And now that's a fight I would definitely want to see. Not because it makes for a good fight, because it really doesn't, and it doesn't make no sense. And I definitely don't want to see Gervonta Davis in the exhibition. He in his bag. He's a fighter. Like, why would he play games with us like that and play crazy and just to fight Jake Paul? Jake Paul wants to be a boxer. Here's your challenge, just in a smaller weight class, but a challenge nonetheless. Like, I still have my money on Tank. Not to say I'm rooting against Jake Paul, but anybody can get caught with a shot. So I wouldn't recommend anybody in a smaller class to fight a heavyweight. I really wouldn't recommend that still though, but we would definitely tune in and watch that. So what I will say is, Tank, when he said what he said, and you see the back and forth, it kind of made me think about something something that was a lot more brutal. I mean, this is harmless. It kind of put me in the mind frame of when Mike Tyson felt the way about Larry Holmes beat up on Ali in 1980. Now, that was before my time. I was born in 83, but everybody knew about that fight, especially if you follow Muhammad Ali. And that was like at the end, the beginning of the end of his career. And, you know, and we all know what happened after that. He had a nice touch of Parkinson's. We all know the story about what happened before the fight with the health issues and everything. That's why it sounds kind of eerie, just in a more lighter way, except Mike got a bigger payout and he didn't get brutalized like Ali did. But it's very eerie because when Ali lost that fight, you had a young Mike Tyson crying and mad at the same time, and he told Ali, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. One day I'm gonna get him. And as we know, he got him. So when I thought about Gervonta Davis, and I'm not saying he's taking it that route to that sense, they might just be selling the fight, but it makes sense as far as Gervonta Davis is becoming a cash cow himself, but Jake Paul got the keys in a Floyd Mayweather kind of way. I think the closest person, it's not even close because he got a different dynamic to him, but as far as boxers go, I think Canelo Alvarez is probably the guy. And Tank is right there too, ain't shortstop. And you got Terrence Crawford, depending on who he fights. But it's a difference with a person that got the full package that know how to sell the fight. And as far as entertainment goes, I mean, Jake Paul got it, and he know how to put it together. So you got to take your hat off to him, and he know how to keep them lights on. That's what I call the Mayweather effect, because Floyd was really good at that. You know, Mike Tyson was really good at that at his prime. The problem is, who want to step in front of Mike Tyson in his prime? You got to eat them punch. Like, you going to get a payout, but he going to beat the skin off you. That goes without saying. Back to these records, I'm going to point out another one. 72,300 people in attendance, like I mentioned before. They also broke Canelo Alvarez's record, the $9 million gate in 2021. Jake Paul doubled that with $18 million with this one. And this was an exhibition. I still call it exhibition. The only real fights was on the undercard. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We all saw the same thing. A lot of funny business with the refereeing and the judging and all that, but a few hiccups. I think the referee was trash, especially in the main event, and definitely in that co-main event. I'm going to forget the main event, the co-main event. That referee was trash. I ain't going to lie. The referee, I don't know if the fix was in, but that ain't no way in the world. I don't think that fight was going back and forth. Amanda Serrano got that, man, hands down. So I'm going to leave it at that. I got a couple more videos we working on right now. So as y'all know, until then, I need y'all to binge watch all the This Is Not a Podcast episodes and all the random vlogs in between. As a matter of fact, we got a couple of them, 105 on the way. We got a vlog already out right now. I really want to drop this first. I think I might drop this one first. I'm not sure, but we're going to see what's up. Who knows? We'll see. But I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to end this video right here. Make sure you do what you're supposed to do. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. As you can see, I said it at the end. Hopefully you watch this video to the end. I mean, I don't know other way to tell y'all. I mean, we got more work coming. I got way more content coming. We got more everything coming. So just be on the lookout for that. Check out all those This Is Not a Podcast episodes so you can get caught up to speed. Check out all the Sneaker Diaries episodes. We got a couple more in the chamber I'm working on with those. But just know this. Keep God first. Stay sucker free. And by all means, get to the money. Peace and love. Stay healthy. And I'm out this joint.